Come on and listen to that band. Hey there, ain't it grand?
What's up, fish tank people? This is Aquahound, and on this week's episode of Aquahound's Dirty Little Secrets, we're going to be going over the process of acclimating your fish using the drip method. Now, I already did a video in the past on how to do acclimation using the float method. Now that works alright, but to me, I think the drip method is probably the way to go, and I'm going to tell you why here in a bit. But back to the float method. Just a little recap on that. All you do is you float your bag of invertebrates or fish in your tank, and then what you do is you get them acclimated to the temperature of inside your tank to the water inside your bag. But then what you do is you cut open the top of the bag, and then you start adding water in slowly over 5-minute intervals. You just keep adding your water until that water is the same water as in your tank as in your bag that you're acclimating your fish with. Now the drip method, it's probably the most efficient way because you're acclimating them a little bit slower, which causes less stress on your fish. Now, in order to do this drip method, you got to have a drip method kit. Now, here's Dr. Foster & Smith's acclimating kit, and you can get these. They're really cheap. You can get them for, I bought 3 of them for $6. All they are is just flexible tubing. And I'm going to show you exactly how this works as I acclimate my new marine invertebrates for my tank here. As I should be getting my cleanup crew in today, and what we're going to do is we're going to acclimate them using the drip method. So let's go ahead and get started here. Alright, here we go. So the first step is to take this assembly kit and rinse it out very thoroughly. Okay. Next you want to place this rigid tubing over the lip of your aquarium so the control valve dangles freely outside of the aquarium, and make sure the rigid tubing end is underwater. Okay, so that's what I got going on here. Now what you do is you fully open the water valve counterclockwise until you can easily start a siphon by sucking on one end of the valve. So this is what you do. You just got to turn that valve until you can get 1 drop like that per second about. It's just a real slow process. And then what you do from here is when the siphon starts, you want to adjust the drip rate to 2 to 4 drops per second, and you can adjust this to accommodate larger fish and larger volumes of water. And then turn the valve counterclockwise to increase the drip rate, or clockwise to decrease the drip rate. And just remember to double the volume of the water in about half to 1 hour, while never taking more than 2 hours total time for acclimation. Okay, so now what I want to show you is I got my bucket here, and then down here I got my scarlet shrimp. So I'm just going to stick this in here and just let it acclimate. Okay, and that's all there is to it. That's the drip method. Those are the steps, and there's other ways you can rig up your own flexible tubing any way you want, but it's just a good way to do it. Like some people, they'll tie knots in their tubing, and that works just as good too. But this is nice because you can control the drip rate with that knob by either turning it counterclockwise or clockwise. So there you have it. Now we'll wait a couple hours and he'll be ready to add to my tank. And another important thing is I'm not just going to dump that water in the bag that he's in there right now. See, I'm not going to take that water and just dump it into my tank water, because that water has different parameters than my tank. And that's why we're acclimating them, so we can get them parameters as close as we can to our tank water. Alright, so now we'll wait a couple hours and we'll come back and then we'll get them going in the tank. Alright, now that my little invertebrates have all acclimated through the drip method, now we're going to add them to the tank. And for this video, I'm only going to leave my lighting on just so you can visually see me adding them to the tank. But otherwise, I would say when you are putting your fish or invertebrates or even your coral in your tank for the first time, dim all the lights in your room, make sure all the lighting is really low, and that puts a lot less stress on your fish. Okay, so now for this video I opted to do just my shrimp for the acclimation process, because showing all my other invertebrates would have took too long. But I have a couple snails and I have a reef hermit crab in here as well that I did before earlier. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my shrimp out of the bag because he's done acclimating, and I'm going to use a net to do it because you don't want to add in that extra water that came with the shrimp, because that'll be different water parameters than what's in your tank. Alright, now I gotta get them out. There he goes, down to the bottom, checking out his new home. Okay, when you're done you can dispose of your bag, get rid of the water down your drain because you don't want that in your tank, and now your tank is good to go. And he's back there chilling right now. That's one of my new members of my cleanup crew, which I'll go in more depth when they relax and get used to your tank. My hermit crab's actually right there in the front. He's all balled up right now. He's chilling. And then all my snails, I don't know, you can kind of see the head of one of them right there. They buried themselves in the sand almost instantly. So it's going to take a while for them to get acclimated to your actual tank. And that's just the process. And that'll do it for today's episode of Aquahound's Dirty Little Secrets, acclimating using the drip method. I hope you enjoyed. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Thanks.